mystery, uncut truth, no filter history.
Yeah. Filter history. And all that nonsense and all that joy and pillage and all that stuff. Welcome again to WWO Off Scripts. Technically, we talk about everything besides sometimes wrestling, but tonight we're going to kind of dabble in so many different things that it's crazy. As you saw from our new opening before, when you waiting for the main opening, we're going to be talking about also UFOs, paranormal, video games, movies, and so forth. Once again, I have my dear friend next to me, Marvelous Marvin Dallas.
I refuse to acknowledge that name.
Magnificent Marvin Dallas?
Just stick with Marvin. It's fine.
Okay, fine. All right. All right, everybody. Just want to go over everything already. We have a couple of people now here on the channel and as well as on the YouTube channel. Thanks for the Empress Selena. And we have, I know a couple folks are going to be coming in here as well. We're going to share a little bit of the podcast here, if I can get everything situated. I'm just sharing this around. Marvin, we've got a lot to talk about. Yesterday we had a little bit of confusion with what was going on. We were trying to talk about a little bit of where we're going in WWO. I know you brought that up. We've talked about a couple other things regarding, but now today we can actually go into more details of what we're planning to do. And we could do a couple of big unveils. So while I share this damn stream 50 million times around, we are going to talk a little bit about what is really happening here in the WWO moving forward. And Marvin, we have some new people that are going to be joining after Wrestle Clash. We also have a couple of other we got some events coming up now. We have some other news that we're going to be talking about. So, like I said, I'm like spamming every group there is. Mama of Disney, that's Grand Empress Jennifer over on our Twitch channel. So good to have you there. Welcome. And at the same time, we do have a couple other people on here. So we're going to start this now that I've harassed, I think, everybody that I can on here. So let's go into one of the things. First of all, Marvin, again, thank you for being part of Off Scripts again. Marvin's in the Netherlands, so he's kind of, 6 hours in front of me, or?
Yeah, I'm just past midnight.
Okay. So now she's on YouTube. Okay, so we're gonna send this around. We're gonna go around the table, everybody. WWE 2K25 is gonna be the big thing for us, because not only do we are gonna be updating our content, there's gonna be a lot of changes that we know of. So we're gonna first go into our new content schedule. So as you folks see on your screen, WWO is going to be really busy, and it's going to be one of those things where we are going to kind of take it up a bit. Marvin.
Yeah. I mean, you came up with the new schedule. I'd say enlighten everyone.
So
I was just waving to Jennifer. She said hi.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, Selena, it is going to be busy for us here at WWO. As you look, there is the new schedule. So, folks, instead of waiting 2-3 weeks for content, we're going to be bringing you a whole month of content. And if some shows get delayed, it's just going to happen. But, as of right now, we have WWO Week 1 Here it is, the whole month of each month. So week 1 will be WWO Zone. Now that will be hosted by Jack McDaniel, aka Jeremy the Madman, or Jeremy. And there's going to be alternates. Marvin Dallas, if you're available, you'll be commenting on that. If not, there'll be Ricky Razor. So that'll be week 1. The following week, and these are going to be on like either Sundays or Fridays. So depends on who is hosting the event. So that's going to be another thing as well. So week 2, WWO Live, which is I'm going to be hosting that. And again, it's going to be either KB3 with me, or it's going to be also Ricky Razor or somebody else. So that's going to be, you're going to see like different commentators. We're going to try to spice it up a bit, everybody, so you don't see the same people over and over. And then week 3, Chimp Kicks and Jocelyn Demoness Havoc will be hosting Women of Wrestling on week 3, and that's their little project. That's all women matches, so you have women jobber matches, regular women matches with promos and all that. And finally, at the end of the month, it's our version of Saturday night's main event. It is Slam and Stream, and again, depending on when it gets aired, either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but you'll be seeing that. That's when everybody collides. And one of the big things, Marvin, is now we kind of have 3 brands. We've discussed this with Jeremy, and currently right now he is streaming, so that he's right now a little busy, but we're taking kind of the reins right now here with this. So there's going to be 3 brands. There is the Women of Wrestling brand, with the GM is Chimp Kicks. I run WWO Live as my character, Joseph Skoldranay, and Jack McDaniel, aka Jeremy the Madman, or Jeremy, is going to be in charge of Warzone. So kind of a unique thing. And then on Slam and Stream, we all get together. Now, before anybody starts thinking, is this a brand split? Kind of, but due to not having that many people, it is going to be basically like, for me, I've got to be the ass, and I'm going to grab Anonymous and the International Championship. It's going to be exclusive on WWO Live. The North American Champion, Rich the Redneck, is going to be exclusive on Zone. So those are the only titles that stay there. Titles like the World Title, the Women's World Title, the World Tag Team titles, and the Women's World Tag Team titles will be floating through all 3 brands. So that's kind of makes it go. Women of Wrestling has they're going to be introducing a new title for their specific show. So like while we have the International, North American, they'll have the Women of Wrestling Wild title. Chimp Kick says she's going to make that announcement on their show. So Marvin, and then we all get together, so you can say it's brand competition on Slam and Stream. Marvin, I know we discussed this before. What do you think about the new schedule, per se?
It's gonna be very busy, but that's okay. Like, especially what we discussed, the way the shows are gonna be built. I think we can finally pull it off. And I'm not sure if you remember, but like all the way at the start, when we're just taking this thing over, I did mention it to you. Like, I'd really wish we could have weekly shows. And at the time, it definitely wasn't feasible. I think the time is now. Maybe not now, but we like throwing ourselves in the deep end, and I think we're gonna succeed doing so. Like you mentioned, we have a bit of a soft split for the brands. There are definitely characters you're gonna see more on one show than on the others. But overall, everyone is allowed to be on every show except for the exclusive champions.
Right. And basically it also builds up like intrigue, because the Freak Show has been designated for pure Zone. So you do have Jeremy the Madman, Rich the Redneck, The Showman, and Sister Quinn on that exclusive brand. The organization of Jocelyn Demon Havoc, King LG, Hellbilly and the Reapers and Wade Bishop are exclusive to Live. So it kind of builds an intrigue, folks. So you're not seeing everybody all the time. You're seeing them on their specific brand, and then they'll jump back and forth for, like I said, for Slam and Stream. So before Marvin, yes, we did talk about this, and I think it was one of the first things we always talked about. If we could pull it off, can we pull it off? And I think that was one of the things. And then we came up with Zone and Live was kind of our big show every other month. And then Slam and Stream fit. At the time, it was known as Saturday Night Slam and Stream. Depending on who can host it, Slam and Stream might do a Saturday Night Slam and Stream, or it might stay Slam and Stream. They're all depending on who can host it up and stream it. Women of Wrestling, again, that's another show that's going to be exclusive to them. All three brands, okay, will have jobbers. And we're trying to rev up the jobbers a little bit. I just spent like an hour trying to edit the women's show. And I'll be editing WWO live matches to have them ready. These are extra content. Storylines will go through all three brands. So Anonymous will be, even though he's exclusive on live, he still has a bone to pick with, obviously, the Freak Show.
Yeah, something with betraying him in like one of the biggest cage matches of the year.
Yeah.
Minor stuff, really, but yeah.
Funny thing, we won the War Games twice, so yay! Just throw a little character in there.
To everyone's dismay. Yeah. I think one of the great things with doing the shows the way we're gonna do them now is they're gonna be shorter. We're not gonna cram so many storylines in one show. It's gonna be mixed with AI matches, some exhibition matches, just matches to build people up. And that's not necessarily in itself a positive or a negative, but it's much more appealing to people. If you missed the show, you'd rather watch back a 1.5 hour show or a 2 hour show than a 3 hour show. That just stands to reason. So it's gonna be much easier for people to digest the things that we're doing.
Absolutely. And again, since this is broadcast both on YouTube and Twitch, you can go back on you can go back on YouTube where it saves the content and you can see what you've missed. Obviously bigger shows are gonna, like Slam and Stream, are gonna be a little longer because you got everybody involved. Promos are gonna be on each show, so you still will see them. There'll be the jobber characters are going to have a little bit more interaction, so you'll see that as well. And again, this is a great way for everybody to start. Like, if they join, they can float. Like, there will be new people coming in, they can float between, if they're a woman, they can float into all three brands. If they're a male, they float between two brands. And we're trying to give enough content so when the WWE 2K25 comes down, we can start transferring into that. So let's go on to our next panel. Our 225 events. So we always talk about the road to some show. So now, since Warzone is done and it's passed, we're looking forward to April's WrestleClash. So it is the road to WrestleClash. So with WrestleClash, Summer Bash in August, and Halloween Horror in October, those are our, you could say, big events, like our version of pay-per-views. Warzone, which is on January, opens up the new year. So you don't see it listed here because we're already done with that. But this kind of builds up for each show now. Each brand can build up storylines and crossover storylines, and they all accumulate on these big shows. Marvin, last year we did have all three shows. I think everybody enjoyed what we had to do with every big show. So, and we got to see some surprises on each show. So
yeah, absolutely. I remember the first Wrestle Clash was a build-up for the inaugural Women's Champion. I think at that same event we also had that weird little 5-man table elimination match, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, like every big show that's coming up, we're just trying to bring up new stuff, and I think we're getting better with it every single major show. And yeah, it's just up to us to increase again at Wrestle Clash. I think we have to set up to actually do that. I think we can have a really great Wrestle Clash, and if everyone's going to pull their weight, and I'm confident that they're going to do that, then Wrestle Clash is going to be good. And then we need to build the Summer Bash, which should then be even better again. Just keep raising the bar.
Yep, and the crazy thing about all of these shows, it kind of prepares now everybody. So for you WWO faithful, we're not calling you fans anymore. That was another upgrade to us. You are now the WWO faithful. So for the WWO faithful, now you know what shows, big shows are coming up throughout the year. Just like with WWE, you have WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survival Series, and the Royal Rumble and all that stuff. For us, these are going to be our yearly events. So Warzone in January, Wrestle Clash in April, Summer Bash in August, and Halloween Horror in October. So, and again, in between those months, you still have the 3 brands going at it, and you have the big shows, Slam and Stream. So
You still want to say Saturday Slam and Stream, don't you?
I'm so used to Saturday night main events, so Saturday night Slam and Stream, but
I'm gonna tell you something funny because I've mugged Jeremy for tongue breaking the name with Saturday Night Slam and Stream. I've said that so many times that, like, talking to friends about the actual Saturday night main event, I sometimes accidentally said Saturday Night Slam and Stream. I'm like, what? Saturday night main event. Sorry.
And then they press you on that, I bet. To like, what? What do you mean? You know.
They should know. They should know.
Yep, and
I'm disappointed that they don't. Yeah.
Over on YouTube, I remember in 2020 when I was one of my family would be part of it, and I finally convinced my mother to join in 2K24. So you folks are all, yes, so the Grand Empresses of Pain are now part of the roster. So again, we are growing each year. You know, last year, Marvin, we had a year story. You know, Chin Kicks won the women's championship, held it for like the longest time, and then finally moved on to, then it went on to Jocelyn Demon Havoc. So we've had a lot of people come and go. So that's going to be a new thing. That's why we're building up these new people that are going to be coming in. We have some that are coming back now after hiatus, so we'll see how that works. But again, now, folks, you have from the previous screen, you saw every week it's a different show. Now you got this. So Marvin, any questions before or any concerns before we move on?
Not from me. Maybe from someone in chat. But not for me.
All right, folks. So this is your chance. If you got any questions, throw it in there so we can go and see what's going on. So, and again,
I'll happily answer them.
Yep, and that's another thing too. So, off scripts, whenever we can, we will be doing them as well. Because that's another thing too, where we still have other content that we're building. So, you know, it's going to be around. You know, so who knows? But we'll see what happens. Just sharing around some more. And okay, Selena says, will champions be on all brands?
The world title, women's title, and tech titles will be on all brands. Both tech titles, men and women's. The international will be on live. The North American will be on Zone. And there's going to be a new title for the Women's of Wrestling show.
Okay. Yep. And there is going to be like floating titles. Like, you know what? We didn't bring that up, Marvin. And and that is going to be part of this. I can actually give a little spoiler alert. There is the Hardcore Championship that I know a lot of people from KB3, Abomination, Hellbilly has all won. You know, is there that title? It can float between all the two male brands, so that can happen there. There is also the, like I said, the Women of Wrestling title. Once that is set up through Chim, that's going to float between 3 brands. It's going to be exclusive to her brand, but you'll see it kind of be defended on each, also maybe on their titles. Yep, Alicia says, maybe have us share our stories on off scripts one day. Yeah, we can actually set that up.
That's a possibility for sure.
So we'll go from there. Selena says, okay, cool. Will there be group gaming? We still have to figure that out.
It's definitely on the table.
Yeah, because right now, again, it's so difficult. Like, the only game that really I think everybody can get into, at least in my opinion, is Dead by Daylight. I don't know any other cross-platform games that we can do that.
I would know a couple.
Okay, so, but right now, I think what you're seeing with the content here is probably going to keep us really busy. And once 2K25 comes out, we're going to be more busy putting everything together. Let's go on to the next thing, which is the WWE 2K25 game content, folks. The release date is March 14th. So that's going to be our version of D-Day, because once we get that, we got to see who has it, who's getting it, what version, and how we're going to build everybody there. So Marvin, let me go over a couple of things that we got here. As you can see on your screen, it is the game content. So you have the 2K25 Bloodline Edition. Join Paul Heyman in celebrating the Bloodlines dynasty. Sit at the head of the table with up to 7 days early access, more bonus characters, cosmetics to use on the island for Xbox Series X, X or S, and PS5, and much more. I don't know what the island is. Go ahead.
Before I continue, I have read this all, so it's cool if you mention that. I'm just quickly gonna have to grab something. Be back in 5 seconds.
Okay. Also, folks, the other thing as well is the WWE 2K25 Deadman Edition. The Deadman come and celebrate Undertaker's storied dominance with also up to 7-day early access, bonus characters, and more. So they're really trying to push you to buy the Bloodline, because the Bloodline Edition, because they want you to get more of this stuff. So obviously that is going to be a big thing for them. I think the more you go under that, the more you're going to have. There is the standard edition, which most people usually get unless you want to get the other editions. Delivers all the authenticity and action that players love, with new mechanics and more superstars and game-changing upgrades. So the other ones just give you early access to the game. You'll have additional characters, but again, that is, pretty much you can get more everything into it. If you don't get it, again, the standard edition, we've seen it. You can get the DLCs later on and just activate everything. Empress Alicia says, except for Bloodline Edition, which will be March 7th, along with the Undertaker Edition, and everything is included in the package. Rupert, there is Rupert Von Deering,
the head of the board.
You should get hit by a board. He says, hopefully get rid of the mid-screen button push graphics. I wish they would have let us, hide that, because that's, I think, one of the. It's so frustrating that we have to either zoom in or.
You know, the zooming in for like the submission mini game and the pin mini game, that's okay because you do kind of need it for gameplay purposes. But like that one little cancel button, you do not need the cancel button. Just once in a tutorial, LB to cancel. That's it. You never need to know it again. So if they just remove that, then we can get rid of all the buttons easily. It's just one LB for canceling a submission or pinfall. You don't need it.
There's my wife right behind me. So everybody.
Cleaning up this mess.
She's cleaning up the dog's mess.
Your mess.
Not my mess, those dogs.
It's your mess. Your
But
mess.
That's what I would say too.
yeah, see, I blame the dogs. Marvin, you know a little bit also of the content that's going to be added, the intergender matches and stuff like that. You want to go into all of that?
Yeah, I've done a little bit more homework, or the SmackDown Hotel has, and I'm just gonna copy the homework. Hold on.
No, you're
Like I
good.
said
Go
last
ahead.
night, you have our permission to create our characters. Yeah, we'll deal with the characters. That's gonna be okay. So yeah, the new matches that we have. I actually didn't mention one last night because I thought it was just going to be a normal version of an ODQ match. There's actually more mechanics behind it. I'm going to talk about that one in a bit. First, the intergender matches. I want to talk a little bit more about that. It's the first return in 16 years. The last time you were able to do intergender matches was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. So it's been a while since we've been able to do it. From what I read here, men and women can compete in a wide variety of matches. It's not specified in which, but from what I read here, it seems to be pretty much limitless. So that would be cool if that's indeed true. And what I also read is, and I'm quoting, the game will also feature unique intergender championships. So that's something that could be cool. Like I mentioned last night, it could be a bit tricky to have an intergender tag match, tag title, but if they incorporate this for tag titles as well, then that's no longer an issue.
Yeah, and that's a great thing too, because that opens up more storylines. And like I said last night, you could have a storyline where the champions are going at it, who knows, and we could play it off like, let's say Jocelyn is about to cash in her so what was it, Marvin, championship card, which we created as an event, and she comes in and steals the belt from, let's say, off of Shane, and now it's like she's the world's champion. So that's going to be interesting. I would like to see where else we could go with that, but go ahead.
Yeah, to give an example all the way back from SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 career mode, you have one storyline where your character is facing off against Chris Masters for the WWE title. Masters is managed by Trish Stratus in that storyline, and during one of the matches you have a ladder match one-on-one. And once you're about to win, a cutscene's gonna play. Trish is pulling you off the ladder, climbs the ladder, grabs the belt, and GM, I think Shane, in 2007, just says, no, Masters didn't grab the belt, Trish grabbed the belt, so she's WWE champion. And she's actually WWE champion for like 2 weeks in the story mode for 2007. We can actually replicate things like that with the intergender belts as well, if they are that deep, of course.
Yeah, would be a lot interesting. It's good to see that they're going back to some of the older games, looking at what worked, and probably trying to bring them up on the new mechanics. One of the things, like I said, that they had, that Marvin, I think you corrected me, I think it was 2011 or 12, where it was pure storyline mode, where you could put commentators, you could select your custom character to be commentators, you could select, do a whole range of stories. Again, my fondest memories of my sons when they were little, they would play that game and we would do a whole bunch of storylines. and it was funny because you could do so much with that. So I wish they would bring that back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Selena had a question in chat. Will they be more customization like for the arenas and events? They haven't revealed anything surrounding the creation suite yet, so they're probably gonna add a few things. What it's gonna be, no idea. And maybe they're not gonna add anything and just focus on the few matches that they're gonna implement. We'll have to see.
Would be great if they let us customize the War Games arena for us. So like when we do Warzone.
Absolutely, yeah, 100% agree. That would be great.
So, so let's move on to our next thing here. 2K25. Also this brings up the.
There are a couple of more matches, by the way, that we can talk about.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna quickly skim over the underground match because I pretty much did everything yesterday. It's a match in a ring, no ropes. You can win by knockout or submission. There are also going to be NPCs surrounding the ring as kind of lumberjacks. Now, from what I remember from the actual show, you had a ring out option that doesn't seem to be in the game. Probably because it's going to be a bit too easy. So yeah, it's a knockout and submissions match, no ropes. Really fun for high flying characters. Yeah, it's going to be something that we could possibly use for a few characters as somewhat of a filler. Don't see it being used too often. The other match that I neglected to mention yesterday because I thought it was going to be a regular no disqualification match is the Bloodline Rules match. There are actually a few extra caveats to that match. The Bloodline Rules will allow up to 6 run-ins per match, 3 for each side because it is a normal one-on-one match, and that's something that you can't do in any other mode. So it is a no disqualification match, but you can add a lot of run-ins. So let's say you're gonna have King LG versus KB3, you can have Billy Gore interfere. Perhaps Shadow, if he is going to debut, he could interfere on KB3's behalf and Mistress Mackenzie. And on the other side, it could be Hellbilly and the Reapers interfering for King LG. Just going to be this big, stupid brawl that we see in every Roman versus Cody match. But that's something we can definitely play around with and could be interesting for something we just build as a no disqualification match, and it turns into a big clusterfuck.
Yeah. And it's something you don't want to overuse because once people start seeing it, it becomes, unless there's a purpose to it. But all right,
I can definitely see it being used in the build-up of a Warzone match or something.
Rupert says, "Need a bull rope match. I wish."
I'm thinking of how difficult it would be to actually implement in a game and keep it realistic. I understand why it's not in. Would be nice if it could be in, but it's gonna be quite a lot of mechanics to actually deal with, I'm afraid.
One of the things, Marvin, we've seen cage matches. They have cage matches, they have the Elimination Chamber, they have Hell in a Cell and War Games. Back in the old WCW days or NWA days, Rupert probably remembers this, the Triple Tower of Doom. So there were steel cages stacked on top of each other, and those used to be unique. Now, again, that is difficult to simulate in the game, but not really because you can fall through each cage or go down each cage. It's supposedly you start at the top, work your way down to the bottom, and your team fights it out. Again, funny concept. You've never seen that before. Probably never will.
Yeah. I don't see that being too difficult to be implemented in a game. With that, I kind of think, what is that match going to offer gameplay-wise that the War Games match doesn't offer in some regards? Like, it's different, but it's also a little bit similar. So I don't think there's going to be enough demand for it, so to say. But
Right.
who knows? Maybe in the future. Not in 2K25 though.
Yep. Anything else, Marvin?
A few extra additions, just gonna go over them real quick. Special referees will be implemented in more than just the one-on-one matches. So including tag, they don't go into specifics, but like tag matches can also have a special referee now. We're gonna see something we're probably not gonna use. You're gonna have backstage brawls for 5 and 6 people.
Oh,
Even
God.
8 people can get into a backstage brawl. Like we haven't gone to a 4-way brawl, I think. Might have used it like once for a tiny bit of footage for something, but it's something we rarely use. Like if something happens backstage, it's one-on-one. Maybe a triple threat, but yeah. It's a fun addition for people who do use it more often, just not for us. And that's about everything new match-wise.
Punjabi prison match. I think that'll be. I think that's Great Khali, and I forgot who else was it who took him on.
Batista once.
Was it Batista? Yeah. Exploding
And
limo match.
Jin-
No, because I
and
know
Jin
you guys.
against someone else.
I know you
Yeah.
guys will be blowing Scully up every time in that limo.
Rightfully so.
So, anything else?
No, those are all the matches. The Bloodline rules is something we're gonna use, probably. The underground match you can see is something fun, and the intergender matches are gonna be a lifesaver for the women's division, I think.
Exactly. They still be separated. They still take on women, but for storyline modes, there will be situations where we do get them all together, and that's something else. Also Jinder Mahal. Okay, I wasn't aware of Jinder Mahal in one of those.
Yeah, I'm not sure who his opponent was. Maybe AJ Styles or Randy Orton, one of the two.
But
Jinder Mahal was in a Punjabi prison.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was John Cena.
No, it wasn't John. John was well into his Hollywood career at that point. He didn't have a feud with Jinder.
Okay. I know when we go lingerie match, I don't think you want to see Betty Bomb in a lingerie. Probably the Heavy Metal Sisters, you don't want to see them in the lingerie. So, but something like that would be fun. It would be fun to watch. Marvin, before we move on, there's with the game, content that we already have and what we've learned so far in this whole year. What would you like to see come to the WWO now? Like we've created our own matches. We've created a championship card, battle royal. So what about you? I'm gonna toss that to you. And folks, if you're watching the WWO Faithful, throw us in any suggestions that you have for like an event or concept.
There's something I like to see from WWO. That's a tricky one. I could think at some point it would be cool if we have like a annual tournament of some type. I love tournaments, so that's always a good thing. We don't often have the amount of people for it. Like if we were to host a tournament, you're probably going to throw in champions as well, and I kind of feel like that always dilutes it. But yeah, if we had like our version of a G1 Climax or whatever, or a King of the Ring, and we have that every single year, just something else for people to fight for, something you can actually use to set up new feuds. I think that'd be nice. But yeah, all in due time once the roster gets bigger.
Yeah, and I think something like that would work because now that we're developing the brand split, it's kind of like which brand is going to get superiority. I think that's going to be one of the biggest factors there. When it comes to, like I said, for championships, we have the main championships, folks. So that's not going to change. So you still have the world champion, the world tag team, the women's world, and women's tag team. Again, Anonymous's the draft. Rupert says the draft. What about that, Marvin? I think if we had a bigger roster, we could probably do that.
Yeah, I definitely think a draft would be cool, especially if we are gonna refer to the shows as different brands. And with the multiple general managers, I think that would be really cool. But again, that also ties into needing more people. Because if we're gonna split our current roster down the middle, that's really gonna limit our options.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
A draft would definitely be nice. So people, get on with it. Recruit people, get them in. We'll teach them about the promos, and that's it.
again, I think right now with the championships, the way it's broken down to is with the international title staying exclusively on Live and North America exclusively on Zone. I think if you were to do some sort of brand draft, it'll probably have to be probably at the end of the year to build it up for the War Games or something for the next year. Or after that, maybe sometime it would have been now. But let's see here. Selena says Survivor Series or group Hell in a Cell or Team Elimination Chamber.
I read that. A bit of a looking back at one of the matches that we had the playground match. I think that was at Summer Bash, if I remember correctly, last year. Anyway, we had the playground match, which was Jeremy the Madman, Rich the Redneck, and Loco G taking on the Network, which was OSU Phoenix, Kyle Merriman, and myself. That was supposed to be a Team Elimination Chamber match, because I was dead certain that was still a thing in the games, and it's not. It's not anymore. So when I was recording the matches for that show, I just quickly sent a message to Jeremy and Joseph saying, I kind of get a bit of an issue. Elimination Chamber team matches have been removed. You can no longer do a 3-on-3. So I'd like to see them back in the games. But I also kind of understand why they removed it, because it's something that's rarely used.
Yeah.
But still, would be fun.
Yeah, I used to enjoy that because you could have. That was like almost before the War Games. That was kind of the replacement for the War Games before they added that. So that was kind of an idea.
If a story ever allows for it, I would like to see an Elimination Chamber match. Like just 6 people who hate each other. We could probably come up with something.
Oh, I can tell you could probably throw in the Freak Show in there, all 3, and then have whatever.
That's the problem. They're gonna attack each other. There's no way you can prevent that.
Oh, so if you want it random, wow. So you would have to have.
Yeah.
You would have to have. Well, here, unless you pick. You can always do this, and here, folks, we're giving away a little storyline. This is what we do when we produce stuff. We sit down and we do creative. So let's say 3 members from Live, 3 members from Zone, and they come into a war, into whatever the Hell in a Cell, and whoever wins, it doesn't matter if they everybody kills each other, as long as one member from what brand wins. I think that'll probably set something up in the future. So
Winner faces the world champion.
Yeah.
Make it a contenders match. Yeah.
So
that could work.
See, stuff like that. That's what we do. We take a concept, Marvin. Let's go into that before we move on to the next thing. For WWO, what we do is we come up with concepts and we try to make it work. Alicia. What's that?
I said thanks for tuning in. She's leaving.
Okay.
According to the YouTube chat.
All right. Thank you, Alicia. Thanks for being here. So every time, we will come up with something extremely crazy, and it will just be, can we do this? Is this possible? How much editing is involved? And I think, Marvin, that's sometimes the biggest headaches for you, because it's like, yep. I would say, and here's my, real wrestling frame of mind. trying to relay an idea to them and say, hey, like, can we do this, and they would come back and says no because of this limitations.
Yeah, it worked well for the story, but I vividly remember going over the last Warzone match. It was going to be Team Anonymous versus the organization. I was like, we can have King LG in a different match, or use Abomination instead of the Reapers, and we can make it 3-on-3, because we were still trying to figure out who the fourth member was going to be for Team Anonymous. You were like, no, 4-on-4 is more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for them.
It's a lot more fun. For everyone but the person trying to set everything up.
And that's the thing, you got to give these guys credit, because him and, you got LG, you've got Jeremy, and you got Marvin here. They're putting the big events together. LG loves the highlight stuff, so he'll take highlights, video, put them all in there.
I'll give my flowers to David and Jeremy every single day that I can, but I do want to say they have not done a Warzone match yet. That's all with me.
Did you do the last Warzone? Not this one that passed, but the one before it?
You mean the one where no one else had the game and I had to do everything before Jeremy and David even had the game? Yeah, it was me.
There you go. Thankfully, we bypassed that point right now. So
yeah, thankfully, definitely.
Now let's hope everybody.
And I mean, even with the last show, how that went. Like I said, Jeremy, just take care of the finish of the Warzone. I'm gonna make sure the setup is right, and I'm gonna do all the other matches because I found myself having more free time. So I do really love to do this as much as I can play, but yeah, part of the process.
All right, let's go on to the other thing here. Besides the wrestling content that you guys are going to see, that we do have little alternatives. Off Scripts Podcast is here as well. And again, we're going to be changing things up, obviously, because, there's just so much wrestling we could talk about. And, there's going to be stuff about games, as you can see on the screen there, folks. It's now on the... You'll see it right there on the screen. It is going to be wrestling. It is going to be like paranormal stuff that you've seen there. UFOs, Bigfoots, video games, and movies. So all of those things are going to be discussed sometimes. We'll get into that. Honestly, I think, Marvin, for us, for doing off scripts, it is for that intention to be off script.
Yeah. The best example for now is the last off script that I had with Jeremy just before 2024 ended, where we were just talking about games and having fun, talking about our favorite games, the things we like to see in the gaming industry and stuff like that. Something I was planning to do with you, Scully, beginning of the year, but like I mentioned yesterday, fell a bit ill. Then we had the show. And now we actually have a few topics that we really needed to bring out, so we used off scripts for that. But yeah, I expect off scripts to move away from the wrestling talk.
Yeah, that's why it's called off script. So next off scripts will definitely make it into something about video games, movies, or something. If you're into wanting news, rumors, and everything in professional wrestling, which is WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, whatever.
Good night, Jennifer, over on YouTube.
Good night, Jennifer. For that, check out Thursday nights at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard. It's the HWR Crew, Hardcore Wrestling Rants, where they'll talk about everything from all different wrestling brands and news and little things like that. So, again, that happens every Thursday. So, off scripts, if we could get the crew together, it'll be right after that at 9 o'clock, so you got that little 2-hour space. Then again, you have, the wrestling shows that we would do, but I think having little alternatives, little breakaways like off scripts and then pure like the HWR, that kind of makes things a little bit different and offers more to the channel. So, Marvin, I don't know if you want to add anything on to that.
Um, well, not necessarily to the off scripts, but speaking of extra content, I'm not entirely sure. I would like to do something of a live reporting from the Royal Rumble tomorrow night, because the Rumble is crazy fun. Not sure if we're going to be able to pull it off. At the very least, I'm going to be sitting in the watch party channel of our Discord, so if you just want to hang out and chat, feel free to join, and we're just going to have a fun night.
Yeah, and that's another thing, folks. If you are interested in being part of the, part of the channel, and you want to learn more about WWO, the Discord is right there. Make sure you guys come in. Guys and girls can come in and join and be part of the watch party. You can be part of WWO Faithful. You can learn if you want to become part of our product. We've always looking for either content creators, we're looking for talent, which is the wrestling promos, or we need editors. Sometimes we need game footage. People can help with game footage. Backstage interviewers.
It's good to know the Discord is for the workers, the people who work on the show, but also for the WWO faithful. Specific rooms, if you're gonna join in, you're not gonna see everything. You're gonna have to be assigned a role. So probably gonna be me welcoming you into the Discord, asking what you want to do, give you the appropriate role. The WWO faithful are definitely welcome in the watch party rooms to just watch along with shows. Normally those shows are designed for our WWO live streams, but I don't see the harm in using it for the Rumble tomorrow night. So feel free to join in.
Absolutely. And then, folks, we have some of the best content creators of all time, so you want to check them out. As we know right now, there is Jeremy the Madman. He is on streaming right now. So there is all the links. You have Chim Kicks, OSU Phoenix, Rich the Redneck, and myself. There is many others. And the next off scripts will be showing more links. When it comes to Empress Leisha, there is the LG and Mr. G. So make sure you folks tune in to hear Marvin again. We have a lot going on, and with the with our new scheduling, with the new events coming up, and with 2K25 coming out, folks, this is going to be one crazy year. Now, I do want to say this. Sometimes if a content show gets delayed, understand that all of us have real lives. So, you want to throw anything in there, Marvin?
Well, it kind of feels like we have to throw away at life, but whatever.
Yeah.
Just joking, but yeah, it's a lot of fun to do this. For the hard work we pull in, we do like to see results, obviously. We do it for the fun, but we like to see results, so be sure to share the streams, share the channels, share the YouTube, share the Discord. We'd like to just bring in lots and lots of people and turn this into one big happy family. So feel free to share the word around WWO Life for every single wrestling fan.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we try to push this as much as possible for everybody, and it's what we can do. As much as what we can do, because again, all of us have busy lives. So, good thing is with the new shows, we get everything all together. We have them all ready, so we're gonna try to. Rupert says we should do Dig Dug. I actually enjoyed that game. I prefer Mr. Do. I think I like Mr. Do more than Dig Dug. But again, Marvin, maybe another time we could sit down and we could talk about video games straight on through.
Yeah, definitely. I do have a couple of games in mind that we could stream, and if we can do it a bit cleverly, we can stream like multiple screens maybe.
Oh yeah, no, I could. If everybody's on Twitch. Yeah, if all the content, whoever's involved, if all of us is on Twitch, I have a link that can put us all in one stream. So it's a multi-Twitch. So everybody could you can see all the different Twitch channels, because if we had it right now, you'll see Jeremy the Madman, you'll see us, and everybody else in one stream. So,
And otherwise, there are definitely other opportunities and also party games that just require one screen. So you just kind of have to talk about it at some point, or we're not busy discussing shows.
yeah, we're not, and I guarantee you, once WWE 2K25 drops on March, everything is pretty much, we're going overtime, and we're just going to be doing a lot of stuff. It's going to be one of those things where we are going to be extremely busy because with the new game, we have content we got to build up. We have to build up the new how can we say, we got to build up all the new characters, the arenas, the my God, everything that we can think of that has to go on there. So with that, Marvin, I think we're pretty good, aren't we?
I think so. I think we covered everything for the next year. Beside the stories that we're definitely going to keep close to the chest, of course, but yeah,
folks,
a lot of things to look forward to.
Yeah, and with that, definitely, you guys are going to have that. So, for myself and Marvin Dallas, you guys are going to we're going to be sending you guys over to Jeremy the Madman on his channel. So, with that, folks, thanks for being part of WWO Off Scripts. I hope you found what we just said for this past hour interesting, and I hope you stick with us. Like, subscribe, and follow on our channels. Definitely, we love you faithful. So, here we go.
And join the Discord. Join the Discord.
Yeah. Oh, Marvin, by the way, before we go,
Yeah.
I am going to introduce, and I forgot that I didn't put that up there. We're starting in March. We're going to open up the WWO store. So you'll be having the opportunity to buy the WWO t-shirts, Marvin Dallas t-shirts, Anonymous t-shirts, Jeremy the Batman t-shirts. Proceeds go to the individuals because that is their merchandise. So if you buy a Marvin Dallas shirt, it goes directly to Marvin Dallas, and so forth and so forth. So with that, folks, I am going to say, I'll keep up with that. We'll be putting those links up. So with that, folks, I'm going to say, for me and Marvin Dallas, magnificent Marvin Dallas.
What did I tell you?
Hey, you guys.
We're gonna have a stern conversation about the Scully. It's not gonna fly. No.
Bye, guys.
This is harassment.
It's harassment. We'll pick on Jeremy next.
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
There we go. Stay tuned for Jeremy the Batman. We got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and